There's a moment in every meeting, every presentation, every one-on-one with senior leadership. And that happens before you say a single word. They look at you, they take you in, and somewhere in the back of their mind, the decision starts forming. Is this someone who operates at my level, or someone who reports to someone at my level or even below? And you don't get a second chance at that moment. And most high-performing managers spend zero time thinking about it. They prepare their slides, they rehearse their numbers, they make sure their content is bulletproof. And then they walk into a room and ruin everything in the first 15 seconds. Not because they said the wrong thing, because they looked like they needed permission to be there. This video is about that. By the way, don't forget to follow me if you still don't, and like this video. This video is about the signals your body sends even before you open your mouth. The way your voice either builds or destroys your authority. And one mindset shifts that makes it all easier than you ever could think. And before we get into the how, I have to kill one myth. You may have heard the statistics that the words make only 7% of your speech. Then how you look makes 58, right? And how you sound makes 37. That gets quoted constantly, and it gets used constantly to justify ignoring what you actually say. And here's the problem. This is not what the research shows. Mehrabian studied what happens when there's incongruence, when your words say one thing and your body says another. In that situation, people stop trusting your words and start reading your non-verbal. Just look at me. First, I will tell you something. Now I will tell you something very important, that your impression that you make makes much more sense than the words. But the words actually matter after you make the right impression. And now I'll just spend 15 seconds of your time saying nothing useful. Absolutely nothing. This time you will just literally spend only to show you the difference. Now tell me, when did you hear me better? In the first time when I told something extremely important, or the second time when I said just some nonsense, nothing? Of course it was the second time. But then comes the deal. When everything is aligned, when you look confident, when you sound confident, people go back to listening to every word you say. They analyze it, they remember it, they hold you to it. So ignoring the content is a catastrophic mistake. Words matter completely once you've earned the right to be heard. And that right is earned in the first few seconds, and you have to maintain it consistently over the whole meeting time. Here's how. Part 1. Your body. The first thing people read about you is how much space you take up. Confidence is physical before anything else. When you walk into the room, don't rush, don't shrink, don't make yourself smaller to avoid attention. And of course, don't just look inside with your only head. Do the opposite. More deliberately, stand wide, gesture openly, big deliberate gestures that make from the shoulder, not tight little movement from the wrist or even only with your fingers, because that signals anxiety. If you're presenting and there's a table in front of you, step out from behind it. Occupy the room. If you are sitting and there is a free chair next to you, put your bag in it. So take the space. It signals unconsciously but powerfully that you belong here. Then goes the eye contact. It sounds simple, but a lot of people do it wrong. Don't dart around. Don't look at the floor. Don't look at your slides. Look at people in front of you. One person at a time, 3 seconds each. It's long enough to connect and not long enough for them to feel like they're interrogated. And here's a small adjustment that makes a big difference. Don't look directly into their eyeballs. Look at the point between their eyes and maybe slightly above. Same effect and none of the intensity that makes people uncomfortable. When there are multiple people in the room, move your focus slowly and deliberately around the group. Not a scan, a selection, like you're choosing who gets an attention next. Part 2 is your voice. When you are relaxed, you are confident. That's exactly how you speak with your friends, right? Slow, relaxed, not too loud. You're not performing for them. You're just talking normally. And that is exactly how authority sounds like. There is a research on sales, and sales is another form of persuasion under pressure that consistently shows that slower speakers close more deals. Not louder, not faster, slower. And make pauses. Speed signals anxiety. Slowness signals that you don't have any better place to be and you have nothing to prove. Then comes a pitch of your voice. Margaret Thatcher, one of the most commanding political figures in the 20th centuries, worked with a voice coach specifically to lower the pitch of her voice. She understood that a lower, steadier tone reads as authority. And don't get me wrong, it's not anything specifically to be a female thing or male thing, it's a physics thing, psychological thing. Lower frequencies carry further and land harder. And I want to emphasize one thing that might kill your executive presence, and nobody talks about that. The question inflection. When your sentences end on a rising tone, even when you're making a statement, it sounds like you are asking for permission. We should move forward with a plan. We should move forward with a plan. And your statements going down and lower. Not aggressively, just with a finality. Like you've already decided and you are sharing the conclusion. Not asking for the verdict. Part 3 is the words you say. Now that your body and voice have the room's attention, your words must be worth it. One rule that changed everything is stop talking about yourself. Right. Start talking about them. This sounds obvious, and it's shockingly rare. Most managers walk into a room and they present what they did, what they want, what they need. And the whole frame is about the speaker. The actual executives think in a different frame completely. They think, what does this means to all of us? What's the risk? What's the upside? And what do we have to give up? So before you say anything, translate your content into their currency. Not I've been working on this project for 6 months and we've achieved X. But here's what this means for our margins over the next 2 years. And here's the one decision you need to make today. Not I think we have to change the process. But here's the risk we are carrying if we don't. And here's what changes for your team when we do. Every idea, every recommendation, every ask framed as a benefit to the people in the room, not as a report from the person presenting. You're not there to show what you've done, you're there to give them something useful. This distinction alone puts you in a completely different category. And part 4 is your internal state. All of this, your body, your voice, your words, they all get so much easier when you shift in how you think about the moment before you walk in. Most people prepare content. Very few prepare their state. 2 things that work, and they're backed by the research, not just by intuition. First, power posing. Amy Cuddy's work at Harvard showed that 2 minutes of expansive posture, standing wide, arms out, chest open, measurably shifts your hormonal state. Cortisol down, testosterone up. Less anxiety, more confidence. Do it before you walk in the bathroom, maybe corridor, well, if you're alone there, of course. Not because it looks impressive, nobody has to see that, because it changed you. Second, and this is one most people skip, before you go in, answer this question out loud. Why does what I'm about to say matter to the people in this room? Not why it matters to you, why it matters to them. When you're genuinely in the frame, I'm bringing something useful to these people, your whole energy changes. You're not taking their time anymore. You're not asking for something. You are delivering value to them. That switch from needing something to giving something, it fell immediately by everybody in the room. And you can't fake it, but you can create it deliberately every single time. The combination of preparation, physical state, and that internal frame is what makes someone walk into a room and immediately read as executive level, before you even say a word. None of this is talent, and none of this is just a personality trait. It's a set of skills, trainable skills, learnable, repeatable. And they set aside a much bigger system, because looking and sounding confident in a room is only useful if what you are saying is already calibrated to the right level. If you haven't watched the first video, that one about why you are not getting promoted, the link is in the description. That's the foundation. This is the layer on top. And if you are ready to look at your specific situation, where the real blocker is and what needs to be changed, there's a link below to read my full story and apply for diagnostic session. No fluff, just an honest look at where you are and what's actually is in your way. The system reads signals. Your body sends them before you open your mouth. Make sure they send what you intend.